All right. Aha! We are officially live, everybody. Officially live. All right. I know that yesterday we weren't able to go live. We were restricted by YouTube and had to wait 24 hours. So I get it. Today is going to be live just through the YouTube studio. By tomorrow, we should have it set up that we're actually going to be using a streaming software called OBS, which should allow me to actually start doing the interactive tutorials, those things that I've been trying to do. So we'll see. All right. While I know most of you that were trying to be here yesterday couldn't be here today, I did write out your questions. We will get to them when I can do the tutorial stuff. For today, this is kind of the secondary test video. Last time we talked about, well, it was pre-recorded and it just said start where you are. Didn't get to wake up on time, didn't get to do a live chat, didn't get to do a whiteboard. I mean, there were a lot of walls. And you can either accept the wall, go around the wall, go under the wall, go over the wall. You got other options. And I'm the type of person where I'll rebuild the whole fucking new wall if I have to. I don't care. Your restrictions do not enter my reality. So here's what I want to talk about today, which is that enough is good enough. I meet, especially as a bookkeeper and my interest in real estate investing, I meet a lot of people who want everything to be perfect, especially if they haven't done it before, because they don't actually know what they need to do. So they think that they need to know everything. If you're wanting to be a bookkeeper, they think that they have to be a certified public accountant before they can even start to try to get a client as a bookkeeper. Now, if you're trying to get a client as an accountant, then yes, you have to have your certification first. But the bookkeeper, you don't. You really get to learn a lot of new things. Oh, yeah, people said my glasses. Well, I guess y'all have to figure it out because eventually I'm just going to be a little picture in the corner. So we'll figure that part out. We're going to say for today that enough is good enough. The reflections on my glasses, I don't have fun little cute texts, I don't have a thumbnail, all these little things that could be used as evidence that I should stop, I should wait, I should delay, I won't do. I will not do, because I have had to learn in my life that enough is good enough. If you have enough water to fill your glass, that's good enough. Like, that's what you needed. So if it's not enough, then okay, yeah, absolutely. But too many entrepreneurs, and especially not yet entrepreneurs, are trying to think, using the glass analogy, they think they have to have 64 ounces when in fact, you probably only need like 6. Like, you really don't need a endless amount of energy and effort when you're starting a venture. Now, me, especially as a CEO, I do like to think big and long term. Both of my parents were self-employed, so I've understood from the very beginning that you have employees, you have self-employed, and you have corporations, which is a whole different way of doing things. In employees, you have to learn how to follow and suppress your reactions. If you've ever been an employee, you know there has been something somewhere where you just, as they say, bite your tongue. Hopefully you don't do that because you probably bite it off by the end of your job, but that happens. Then you have the self-employed, which is people who create a job for themselves. And in order to be self-employed, you have to have self-discipline. Because if you sleep past your alarm and you don't show up to your client to clean the house, you won't get paid, period. So you have to really be self-disciplined. There is not going to be a manager calling you. And if anyone calls you, it's the client saying, what the hell, I just fired you. So when you're self-employed, you have to be 100% disciplined for yourself. When you are an employee, you have to be in 100% follow mode And even when you take the lead on a project, you have to follow the guidelines of what other people want. So even when you're leading, you still have to be in the mentality of follow. It's just, who do you follow? So those are two very different mindsets. And when you go from one of those mindsets, I don't have to do anything but follow, I can't do anything but lead, and then you try to switch it over into an entity, into a corporation, into a whole system, it's very difficult. Because when you're in part of a system as an entrepreneur, you must lead and follow, and you must know when to do which is really hard for a lot of people. They'll go in there and they'll say, I have to have absolutely everything. And then they'll be like, well, I did it my way. This is how I did it. I'm not going to, overseas it, or I'm not going to give it to somebody else, or that's not what my vision was. Or you have the people who never get to the point of an entrepreneur. These are the lifelong almost entrepreneurs. I call them almosts, because they read the books, they go to the seminars, they collect the manuals, but they never actually take a step. And when I'm like, they're sitting there trying to tell me their expertise and how they know everything about a subject for 40 minutes. And then I'm like, okay, cool. What's your next step? Oh, well, I'm going to get another book, or I'm going to do another. No. You just spent 40 minutes telling me quality information. That's the other thing that blows my mind. It's quality information. John Elliott in The Maverick Mindset, he says something that I refer to often. And he says, unsuccessful people and successful people know what to do. It is the successful people who actually do it. You can take somebody who knows they need to eat clean and who knows they need to work out, and you might even drag them to the gym, and you could even stock their cabinet with fresh, amazing foods. And some people will still find a way to not get healthier. They will. You're probably chuckling right now because you're probably like, yeah, that was me, or yep, I know somebody like that. And I want y'all, okay, it's weird to have it tilted down. Yeah. Oh, well. It's weird trying to talk to a mirror, but then trying to talk to the camera. I'm used to having a person to talk to, and I don't even know what I look like. So, but that's good enough. Enough is good enough. Oh, I cannot recall off the top of my head. So if you guys know, please drop in the comments. But I read somewhere, or I heard something, or I said something. I don't know. I've read thousands of books, so pardon me, I don't fully remember. But somebody somewhere said that in order to be an expert, all you have to do is be one fact ahead of the person you're leading. That's it. I did trucking for 7 years, so I have a lot of trucking examples. And when you do flatbedding, you have to secure different loads using different materials and different methods. So I could have one person with me, another driver, and he could know one technique more than me. And human psychology, in my mind, I would be like, wow, this guy knows his stuff. I'm going to come to him with all my questions. And it might be that every question afterwards I ask him, he doesn't know. He's like me, he's trying to learn. But because he knew one useful fact more than me, one useful skill more than me, I see him as an expert. I see him as somebody I could go to for advice. Take the same example versus I know one more than him. Instead of like what a lot of newbie people do, they hook it onto the tarp and they hook it up and under the truck. You don't have to do too many winter deliveries or muddy deliveries before you realize, oh no, I am not crawling through there. I'm not taking a hammer and breaking off all the ice. No. And I can't take credit for it. It's not my genius. I don't think I'm a genius at all. All I do is listen to geniuses. And multiple senior drivers, I'm talking, million milers, amazing men that I met out on the road. And they taught me, you put it on the tarp, you put it down and through the actual circle, never the square, of course, we all know this, through the circle and back up onto the tarp. And now what you've done is, one, you've cut down the number of bungees you have to have. Some people like to have the same number, and that's cool. You don't necessarily have to. It's pretty much overkill, but that's fine. but you still would not be killing your back, trying to crawl underneath, trying to smack off all the mud and the ice. You're just moving it to the side. Now, if I knew that technique, but he didn't, let's say everything else equal, he knows absolutely everything else with me. He's a CDL driver like me. He's hazmat, he's tanker, he's double. This is a very seasoned, experienced, awesome dude. But he does not know the technique to put it down and through the loop. Instead, he puts it underneath the truck. In my mind, in psychology, I cannot help it. It will be the first impulse of, oh, okay, well, this is a guy I need to teach. And now in my mind, every time I see him, I'll try to share a tip. It'll be the impulse. Maybe I do or don't. Your impulse is not who you are. Your actions are who you are. But the impulse, the human psychology will be, oh, this person doesn't know as much as me. If you're a healthy person, I want to help. If you're an unhealthy person, oh, they're beneath me. We're not getting onto that. Why I'm saying all of this to my real estate investors, you're probably going, what the hell is trucking to do with me? What the hell is bookkeeping to do with me? Because enough is enough. I have seen too many newbies and sometimes experienced people walk away from a deal where they would have gotten the commission they wanted. Let's say you're a wholesaler and you are going to get a $15,000 wholesaler fee. You go to the table, you're going to get your $15,000, but the investor has renegotiated with the seller to where they get a better percentage rate on the mortgage, or the overall price goes down a little bit. And so the investor's profit of the picture goes up a little bit. Now, the wholesaler still gets exactly what they said they wanted to get, but I've literally seen them walk away from that deal because the other person was getting more than they should. And that somehow, because the investor is making more money, the wholesaler felt they were getting the short end of the stick. I see examples like this constantly, way too often. It's emotional impulse. And I want you as a real estate investor, even as a human being, to start becoming aware of when enough is good enough. I always tell people for meetings, for any sort of Zoom calls, beforehand, I say, send me a memo of what we're accomplishing. What are we needing to get done to leave? Because I'm not in this meeting to talk. I've got enough to talk about. I've got audiences to talk about, and clients to talk about, and friends to talk to, and now an audience to talk to. I don't need to talk anymore. I'm a talker. I need more water. So what I want you to do before you enter into anything, even if it's a room with your spouse, I want you to take a quick second and go, what do I want by this interaction? Do I want to just walk on by and do what I'm doing and not have to stop? Do I want to stop by and do some small thing to let my spouse know, hey, I see you. You're awesome. I'm busy, but you're still here. You're awesome. And move on. Do I want to go in there and talk about how the car needs something? Or do I want to come in here and convince them that we should actually start having oatmeal instead of cereal in the morning? What do you want out of that conversation? And I promise you, when you start doing that at home in little things, it's going to help you when you go into business. It's going to help you when you get to that next stage. What do you want? And as long as you get what you want and everybody does their deals or whatever, let them say that they want what they want. That's it. That's enough. That's good enough. Enough is good enough. I, have seen cases where we call them the shoebox receipt person. They just got a whole stack of papers and receipts, especially as a trucker. I know exactly how owner-operators work. And I wanted them to just take a quick picture, download the QuickBooks Online mobile app, which we do QuickBooks Online for our stuff. And they didn't want to take the picture right away because they felt like it was bad lighting or it was a little fuzzy. So they wouldn't take the picture right away. And at first it was okay because he did it at the end of the day and everything was fine. But then slowly he started forgetting. And it was do it right away. Enough is good enough. Even if it is bad lighting, even if it is fuzzy, even if your first episode, you're in a freaking shower robe, who cares? Enough is good enough. Did you do what needed to be done? In the case of your bookkeeper, what needs to be done is communication. It needs to be communicated what you spent and why. If your bookkeeper knows those two things, They will be an amazing asset on your team. But we can't read your mind. Your spouse can't read your mind. Your other investors can't read your mind. Don't fall into the trap of more. Oh, I could make $2,000 more on this property. I have to have those $2,000. Oh, you're not going to do the deal without the 2,000? Well, then I'm walking completely away. No. You were okay with your number. Know your number ahead of time. Now, if you're supposed to get a $15,000 fee, the investor gets a little more and says, hey, because I got more, a lesser asking price or a better deal, I'm going to throw you an extra $2,000. That's up to you. Whether you say, yes, I'll take the $2,000 or no, I agreed to it. Next deal, we can renegotiate. I'm in the second category. I want everyone who deals with me to know exactly what they're getting and then deliver on that. That's what I want. And that has meant keeping my cost, even if the other side went down a little bit. I said, that is my cost. I can walk away and not be a part of this, but this is what I need for this deal. But that's also gone the other way, where they said, wow, I want to give you a bonus. And I said, no, this was the contract. This was the deal. Next contract, we can negotiate differently if we need to. I have had people, we're going as far back as 2014, 2015, 2016, 2018. Amazing CPA. I haven't asked if I can give her a shout out, so I'll ask her first. But she was amazing CPA, and she helped me with taxes. I wasn't yet an entrepreneur. I wasn't yet a CEO. I was just an employee. But for some reason, they said I owed on 1 year and I would pay it, and they would apply it to a different year and then not catch it until the following year. And then I think it was like 2018 that somehow they updated their system so that all the different years would talk to each other. And it was non-stop for almost a year. I would pay whatever they said I had to pay. And then they'd give me a letter saying, oh, here's a refund. And they'd give me a refund in a different amount. And then I would get a letter saying, well, now I owe this much. So I would pay that much. And then I would get a refund. And then they would say I owed. And I was like, what the heck? So you can imagine, that's a lot of stress. And she helped me out a lot. And she was willing to say, hey, you know what? This is like the 4th time we're going through this. I'm not going to charge you. And I told her, I said, I really appreciate that. Like, I'm in financial straits. I was living out of my car at the time. But our agreement coming into this was that I was going to pay you for this. And I paid her. That's the kind of entrepreneur I am. That is my enough is enough. I see too many people who are trying to wheel and deal and hustle. And it's like they have this idea in their head, but no foundation to stand on. Give me a solid number. Let me know when we move forward versus when we walk away. And you will find, 1, a lot less stress and anxiety in your life. And 2, you're going to find a lot more repeat people. Because when people know exactly what to get from you, think of the department store or grocery store that you go to for your staples. If you went in there tomorrow and suddenly let's say you go for groceries, and you walk into the same store, it looks exact same on the outside, and then you get in there and realize they now only sell auto parts. You're like, what in the world? I came here for my salad and my chicken and my milk and my bread. Like, why are you selling auto parts? And they're like, no, we'll get you that. Come back next time. So you come back next time, and now it's a floral store. It's a nursery. And you're like, what? Where is my groceries? So many people do not think about how they come across to other people. And I want you to understand and find who you are, where you are. Where is your enough? Because I promise you, especially in this day and age and the internet age, anybody and everybody is going to tell you where your level should be. It doesn't matter. I mean, we have people who try to tell Elon Musk what he should be and how he should handle his finances. And they're like making less than $30,000 a year. Like, should he adjust and stop what he's doing for humanity and for his corporations because somebody else told him to stop? No. And that's what I want you to do today. Enough is good enough. I am C. Taiga. I am the CEO of the REI Ledger. You can find us at www.thereiledger.com. Might not be in this video, probably next video, but it'll start being down below and probably on the screen as we start. We only do QuickBooks Online. If you are looking for a bookkeeper, we will help you out. For now, our educational services are only here on YouTube, and those will all be for free. So just check in for the next episode. Thank you for staying for the 20 minutes. I am now going to do some Q&As that we couldn't get to yesterday and that some people wanted to get to. Okay, rules for journal entries. If you are just starting out on your real estate journey and you've never been an accountant, you're going to use words like assets, equity, liability very differently than your bookkeeper is. Okay? So the question is, why does my bookkeeper say that A equals L plus E? If you're not an accountant, this is what it means. Assets on a balance sheet, on your accounting ledger, your assets in this column, everything that's positive for you, must equal your liabilities plus your equity. And at the bottom of the sheet, after you list out all the different things, this number should match this number. That's called a balance sheet. Assets equals liability plus equity. Now, this is coming from a real estate investor asking an accountant, basically, what do we mean when we say equity versus what does the investor mean when they say equity? If your education came from real estate first, equity means what you can pull out of your property. If you have a $300,000 house and you've paid it down for $150,000, that means you have 50% equity in that house, okay? But when you come to a bookkeeper, even if you only have one property, but it's in an entity, which it really should be. If you're listening to me, hopefully you know that by now. Make sure it's in an entity and you hire a bookkeeper for your entity. What we need to see is what is the owner's equity in the LLC. Your LLC entity is different from your property, even if the LLC only holds one property. I hope that makes a little bit more sense for you. You are trying to see how much equity you have in the property. Your bookkeeper will show you how much equity you have in the LLC. Now, if they're advanced bookkeepers like us specializing in real estate, we're going to show you both. We're going to show you your equity in your property, but also your equity in your actual LLC. Why is it different? Why does it matter? Because as an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, but most of my clients use LLCs for their properties. As an LLC, anything that is made in the LLC gets trickled down to you personally, the founding members. So let's just say it's you and your spouse. Start up this LLC and you've got one property. You could have 90 or let's say 10% equity in the property. And you're bringing in the cash flow. And now to get the business started, you guys bought computers, you bought monitors, you bought marketing t-shirts or stuff, speaking of which we should get ours this week. It'll be fun. Welcome to a CEO's life where we have to juggle 15,000 things, but make it look like we're only doing one at a time. CEO life, thug life. Anyway, you're going to put in, say, $30,000 into the business. So now you have your assets, which is your rental income, the actual property and that kind of stuff, and your cash reserves. Then you have your liabilities, which is the property management company. If you're smart, you're going to have somebody running it, even if you only have one. You're going to have bills such as the electricity, if you're paying for it with just renting it out, taxes, property tax, that sort of thing are your liabilities. However, there's also owner's equity. You are owed that $25,000 back. That $25,000 owner equity is not the equity that's in your property. So I really want you to, as a bookkeeper, understand that you got to be very careful about the word equity, because non-accountants use that word very differently. So I want to educate and get it out there because I'm passionate about educating everybody. I think these sort of topics should be taught in school. But here we are. Okay, so that is why equity is different. If you would like me to do a longer, fuller, more explanation on this, please drop a comment below. Let my team know. We can go there. And if you have a different topic, I don't care if this is a day-old stream or the replay of it is a year-old stream. Oh, yeah. Do these things self-delete? I need to ask that. Hold on. Thug Life, CEO Live. Do Facebook live streams delete themselves? Something we will learn. At least I will learn. Hopefully I will find the person who knows the answer. And if you know the answer, put it down. But anyway, if this is a day old, if this is 10 years old, I don't care. Put your comments down. We try to always have the settings for new comments. And I'm trying to build a community. If you see somebody having a genuine question, please give them a genuine answer. This is not the community to be asinine, to be sarcastic, to be attacking or degrading. If we see those types of comments, they will be deleted as we go through. We just don't, life's hard enough. Life's hard enough without other people deliberately making it harder on you. That was the first question. Second question, from a bookkeeper to a bookkeeper, I do not understand debits and credits. Why is it that a debit or credit in my bank account is so much different than on the balance sheet? I am very, very confused. Okay, we'll go over this again and again and again because all of accounting comes down to this equation. Assets equals liabilities minus or plus assets. Stop, rewind that. Assets equals liabilities plus owner's equity or shareholder equity or founder equity. There's a lot of different terms floating around there, which is another thing that I'm hoping to come up with, is to create common vocabulary between accountants and investors that don't clash in their meaning. So, I just poked myself in my bed. Okay. So why are debits and credits differently? In a double ledger accounting, which means you have two rows and the rows always have to equal each other out, you're going to have a debit or a credit. Now, sometimes a debit is a plus and sometimes a debit is a minus. Same thing with a credit. Sometimes a credit is a plus, sometimes a credit is a minus. And that can be very, very confusing for people, especially when they're first starting out. So we are going to create some trainings, some visual PDFs on our website. We will start having digital downloads. You can start buying things for I think like $2.99 or something for a cost. We're just going to give it to you at that. Because we're not trying, the whole point for the REI Ledger is to bring together real estate and bookkeeping. It's not enough to only know bookkeeping or only know real estate. We have to create a bridge. We have to create a harmony so that there is more efficiency, because this is a gigantic chasm between cultures. And I'm trying to bridge. I'm trying to be the peacemaker here. So we're going to be trying to create a lot of resources for you. We will eventually have a membership area where you get direct access to our advocates, which is our public relations, like people who deal with the public, and they deal with our bookkeepers and our sales and our tech. So we're really trying to get all of that together. But it's going to start with this because I get so many questions I'm going to try to make each video morning and night on one very, very tight, specific topic and deliver it to you. The presentation in 20 minutes or less for the morning, the motivation, I should say, for 20 minutes or less. And then the evening, it's going to be an hour training, like to the same quality that I would train my own staff. That I'm not trying to put up walls here or, I think that's stupid. I think society works much better when all members are competent. So that is my goal. And then afterwards, as you see, it's Q&A, however long the Q&A takes. With the chat room, yes, I see you. Hello, thank you. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. We'll go through. We'll try to take the questions that work for us, the questions that we have. We're just starting out. Enough is good enough. So I want us all to help each other and support each other and move forward with this, because my ultimate goal is to know that I could walk away and we can still have harmony. I want it to be that real estate and bookkeepers are synonymous with each other. They have the same understanding of each other, which does mean different vocabulary, because the equity in your property is not the equity in your LLC. That is not owner equity. That is not shareholder equity. And I have seen it and it's not a bad joke, but it kind of is a joke. Try putting an attorney, a real estate agent, and a bookkeeper in the same room and have someone casually mention the word equity and just watch the show, because it'll be a show every time. Everyone is convinced that their definition of the word is the only definition and the other person is stupid and not using it. It's got to stop, people. It's got to stop. So I'm going to do whatever I can to help stop it. Will this be a common thing? I'm just glad that I caught you. Yes, this will start being a common thing now that we have been cleared from YouTube. Thank you, YouTube. Shout out. Now that we've been cleared for that, we can start doing that in the evening times for the training material. Like I said, this evening we should be trying an OBS training. And we will start off with assets equals liabilities and shareholder equity to try to help you understand the formula, and then we'll go from there. I am trying to be very, very, very specific, not generalized. So many people give generalized advice. And if you want generalized advice now, I mean, literally, it's as easy as asking ChatGPT. So if you want the generalized advice, go there. I have been known to sit there for hours and talk to my Gemini Gem and just ask questions. If someone's going to acquisition a company of 100 employees, what are they looking for? What are the numbers that matter? How can you do a value add? What should you do for your standards of operations? Just ask, get curious, ask questions. And especially with ChatGPT, you can now ask unlimited. Now remember, it can be wrong. AI can only pull information that's already out there. So you'll get a generalized idea. But do not sit there and read ChatGPT for, oh, well, they said that this is what it is, and now I'm a freaking genius. No, no, you're not. I love what I call the AI bookkeepers who like to come to me about stuff. So that'll be another topic. Anyway, I think we've gone on long enough. I will get to questions later. We will bring it there, but we will end it with that question of, is this a regular thing? Yes. This is a regular thing. Please come back tomorrow and interact and add a comment. And if you know a real estate investor, a bookkeeper, or somebody who's just an almost entrepreneur, please share whatever videos and topics you think will benefit them. We're only stronger together. So that is my message for the day. It is now 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so we are going to cut it off. I've got some meetings to get to for the day and lots of stuff to do. Hopefully I will have all that software up tonight, and I will be back with a training. Oh, I see live. I see a recorder. I see people. I see likes. Thank you. I see our top chat. I see our top fan. Oh, okay. Microphone quality. Ooh, that shows low. Is my volume good? Leave a comment if you like my volume. We'll have to quality check that here in tech. I feel like I'm talking normal, but maybe it's not being picked up. Share the screen. Oh, that's cool. Share to another. Oh, end stream. That's probably what it is. All right, guys. Enough is enough. You know, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. Mini micro steps. Figure it out. Take the action. And my action is to get on with my day. Y'all have a beautiful day. Your stream will stop immediately and you will no longer be live. Not yet end. Yes, end.